Our Season 3 journey continues. In today's episode, we've got an early season matchup against the Phoenix Suns, who had one of the biggest offseason acquisitions out there, creating a backcourt duo of Donovan Mitchell and Devin Booker. And this is also an in-season tournament game, so we'll get to see our custom court, of course. But before we get into that action, I wanted to talk about the two games that have happened since the end of last episode. That is a win against the Trailblazers and a win against the Pelicans. I watched both of these games because I mentioned it in the episodes leading up to this one. This year is different than what we've had in the past. We do not have our own first-round pick, and so there's a little bit more pressure to win this year and more expectation, I'd say, than pressure. So I looked at these two games and I really had two things in mind. Number one, I wanted to see how the touches were being distributed, to see if I liked how that was going, any tweaks I should make there. I also wanted to see what kind of plays were being run for anybody, because I haven't really talked about what play types everybody has, and I wanted to make sure that people were getting put in spots that I thought helped them be in their best spot to contribute. So I watched these games. We had a narrow victory against the Pelicans. We had a blowout victory against the Trailblazers. Just hopping into these games here, we had a game where Anthony Simons led us in scoring with 24. Also had 7 assists in this game. Will Burke dropped a 20-20 game in his second ever game with 5 assists on 10 of 17 from the field. Nixon followed up his 45-point opening night with a 22-4-4 game on 8 of 17. These three really took balanced amount of shots. Then after that, there was a 10-shot decrease where Walker, Williams, and Bufkin all had 7 shots after that. So these three shared it evenly with 3. After that, it was pretty balanced as well, with these 4-5 players all being between 5 and 7 shots. In the next game against the Pelicans, if we look at this box score now, Will Burke led us in scoring in this game. 27 points, 11 rebounds, and another 5 assists with 2 blocks, 2 turnovers. He was second on the team in terms of shots for this game, one behind Ken Nixon, who has honestly kind of been bad from 3 to start this year, which is kind of funny. It's still really early, so I don't want to make any conclusions, but he's an A-plus 3-point shooter who's kind of struggled, but he dropped 20 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists in this game. And then there was a drop-off where Simons and Webb each had 11 shots. Dunn had 9, which is pretty high for him, and then nobody else took more than 3. So again, I was looking at shot distribution to see what I should be doing with touches in this game, as well as the plays, and I'll talk about where I have the touches tendencies for now. So here's how the touch tendencies are currently distributed. For the first couple of games of the year, I had Burke and Simons they were like 2 off from each other. I ended up dropping Simons by a couple and raising Burke by a couple, so now it's 86 and 80. After that, the highest is Jarris Walker at 74. I've raised Paris Webbs a bit just because I like the plays that are run for him a decent amount. They include a lot of pick and rolls, which I think pick and rolls are good in this game. 65 for Bufkin and Hawkins. I haven't really changed those. Capella doesn't play, but Dunn is at 60. We have Strother at 60, and we have Jay Will at 60. So nobody who's playing minutes for us this year is below a 60, and then there's definitely a top 3 here, and I think this is roughly the right order that we have these guys in, and we'll continue to tweak these if we need to as the year goes on, but that's what we have for touch tendencies right now. Additionally, something that I haven't really talked about since we started this series is our system proficiency. I haven't really worried about whether or not we have good system proficiency because I haven't really been trying to win, but we're defense here. Cameron McKnight is certainly a defense-first kind of coach, although his offense has caught up at this point. I often don't really see coaches develop, but it looks like his offense has gotten better. So he's more of a balanced coach now, and I think that could be something that we reflect in terms of his active system. I think I'm not going to change his preferred system, but maybe switching over to balance. It gives us another half star in terms of our system proficiency, and it fits pretty much everyone here better except for Ryan Dunn in our starting lineup. So I think that would help us. And just when you sim, the higher system proficiency you have, the better you're going to sim. And so for now, I'm going to make us more of a balanced system going forward to see if that can impact our simming. I haven't simmed any this year, to be fair, but we've simmed for the last 2 years and it hasn't been great. Of course, the addition of Will Burke and the development of Nixon are big factors, as well as even Walker, but I think getting that extra half star will hopefully help us sim just that little bit better.
Now to the good part.
So let's try to keep our win streak going, not only for the season, but a win here at home against the Suns could have us at 3-0 in terms of in-season tournament games to start the year, which could be something that would be fun to track if we maintain a good record throughout the season. It's not something I particularly usually pay a lot of attention to, but there are a lot of in-season tournament games early on in the season, so if we're doing really well, that can mean that's something that we pay attention to later on in the season as well. Venom hold an early 2-0 lead here. A late shot clock heave from Anthony Simons won't go. As the ball again matched up against Devin Booker. Pull up in the mid-range. Not the greatest shot selection. Shot clock winding down this time for the Phoenix Suns, and the corner three is off the mark. Pick and roll here. Nixon and Burke pulling up in the corner is Frozo Nixon for three. Fleming to the rack off a nice dime from Devin Booker. Simons, top of the key, another miss. A slow start to this game for sure for Anthony. He hasn't had the greatest shots though. Sometimes it's been shot clock oriented, where other times it's just his decision making. Shot clock it down again, and Anthony Simons once again with the ball. Way too many possessions here where the shot clock is getting under 3 seconds. Malawach in the corner. Flips it up top for Fleming. Passing around are the Suns, and once again, I think it's on both sides that we're seeing a problem here. The plays just aren't being run very well like this one. That pass was a full 3 seconds late for Will Burke, it feels like. Ends up getting picked off, and in the in-between game, Donovan Mitchell floats one in for two. This time the pass inside does work out. Jalen Williams checked into the game and gets a quick, easy 2 points. Another late shot clock attempt from Mitchell. I had a comment a few episodes ago. I can't remember exactly what episode, or it might have even been the stream I did, saying that the playbooks are a bit busted in this game, and I haven't really seen it be much of a problem for me so far. I feel like usually the plays like this one right here for Jarris Walker have worked out pretty well, but certainly in this first quarter, a lot of plays that are just, or possessions rather, that are just getting way too deep without much action happening. So if it continues to be a problem, might be something to look at. Although one thing I do like is that both teams are on the same page with it. So unless I create, custom playbooks for every team, then, creating a better playbook for us compared to the CPU would technically be an advantage. And again, apart from really early on in this game, and it's even started to correct itself as the game has gone on, seen a lot more early shot clock shots here. So, probably not going to be an issue. Donovan Mitchell takes a quick three, found some space off the dribble. Williams with the rebound. Pushes it ahead to Buffkin. Spins and finishes with the left. Pick and roll. Mitchell, another tough three-point look. He has not been afraid to fire up shots in this game. It's been a lot of Mitchell and Simons putting up shots for their respective teams. But Buffkin, since coming in for Simons, has looked pretty good on a couple of drives as Iguodaro gets wide open on the pick and roll. Venom run the pick and pop this time. Jalen Williams had a wide open look from three. Maybe had too much space on it. Davion Mitchell, so the two D Mitchells are on the same team here in Phoenix this year. That's fun. Nixon, that is his shot. Gonna expect a pretty high hit rate on those, but this time it's out. He gets the steal going against Davion, and then a terrible shot from Strother. The pull-up mid-range that's not even open in transition is probably my least favorite shot in all of 2K. Ken Nixon blow by on Sasser, gets right to the rim. That was the easiest take of his life. I'm surprised he didn't slam it home. Instead, settled for the layup. 22-19, final seconds of the first quarter. The swing out to Davion Mitchell, no good. They get another shot. Sasser, no good, but Iguodaro, 2 offensive rebounds. We got to do better on the boards. Inside, we gave Phoenix 3 attempts in the last 5 seconds of the quarter, and they ended up converting on that third and final one. Simons is going to get the second quarter started in isolation on a drive inside. Donovan Mitchell, a ton of space from up top. Splashes home a 3 to tie us at 24 apiece. Berg, tough fadeaway. Checked back in here to start the second quarter. We don't get to see a bunch of him in the first, but the second quarter is when he is going to get his opportunity here. Jordan Hawkins uses the Burke screen to get a good look from the mid-range as Burke running the floor. Gets rewarded with a dunk. Mitchell, isolation against Hawkins. Maybe had a lane to the basket there. Decided to settle for the mid-range. It's going to miss as a result as Simons gets his midi to go. Mitchell, isolation on top against Hawkins. This time he does go to the rim, but Hawkins did enough to bother him here. Going the other way, it's a slam dunk for Anthony Simons, set up on the play by Paris Webb. Pick and roll works to perfection for Oso Iguodaro. 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Hawkins maybe had Webb, but it would have needed to be on time and accurate on the pass. Instead, Phoenix going the other way. Iguodaro inside, finishes around the Wilbrook defense. Pick and roll, been a heavy dose of that with Iguodaro in the game. This time Sasser pulls the trigger from deep. We've got 32-31 here as the Venom call a timeout. On the play for Paris Webb to get a wide open 3. Drills it. Booker against Hawkins. He's been tested a lot, but his isolation defense has actually held up to the test pretty well, considering he's probably our second worst defender on the team. Mitchell, very deep 3. Ryan Dunn comes out to contest, forcing the miss. Burke in the post. This time looks a little bit more comfortable with the fadeaway, drilling it before the help defense could come. Booker trying to get that in-between game going with a make there off the dribble. Dunn, that's not really his game. The rebound is hauled in by Booker, pushing the pace. Mitchell inside, and another miss forced by Jordan Hawkins, having his best defensive quarter of his Las Vegas Venom career, at least in the games that we've watched, for sure. This time defended by Booker, using fakes to get the open window for the make. Burke finds an open Jordan Hawkins. Can he get it going on the offensive end? Not that time. We've got a Webb Burke pick and roll, but good hands defensively by the Suns to get the steal, and it results in a Rasheer Fleming transition dunk. Fleming now the ball handler on the pick and roll. Tried to go up top for Malawach. Stolen away by Burke. Inside to him now, nearly a bad pass by Nixon. And it's an and one finish, a two-way sequence, the steal and two interior bucket for the rookie. Simons had a decent amount of space from three, but his efficiency here in the first half has not really been what you want. Burke feeds it to Simons. Back inside to Burke, but not really any space there. Come on, Malawach, right up in his grill. Simons probably his best look on a jumper so far tonight, but continues to be cold. Caleb Houston finds Davion Mitchell in the corner, open for three, but no good. Burke to Dunn, a decent look at triple for him, but some missed open threes on both ends here. Fleming blocked away by Jarris Walker. Didn't really do anything to try to get any space there, but gets a second chance wide open, and the Suns take the lead. We've had a bit of a scoring drought here in this second half of the second quarter, so rough to start the first quarter, then rough to finish here in the second. With a pretty low scoring game here. Ryan Dunn, a wide open triple in the corner. Got another opportunity and made the most of it this time around. Under 10 seconds left for the Suns. And they get an offensive rebound put back by Malawach. It's going to tie us at 46 apiece heading into halftime. Low scoring affair. Both defenses playing pretty solidly here. Our leading scorer at the half is Will Burke with 9 points and 7 rebounds. A few different players at 7 points, but just 3 of 10 at the half for Anthony Simons. Probably seeing him take a little bit too much in the way of shots. Donovan Mitchell has also really struggled. 3 of 13 from the field, 2 of 7 from deep. Jarris Walker gets the second half going. Then above the break triple. 4 seconds left on the shot clock. And Booker gets fouled by Simons on what was a really unnecessary shot to foul on. On the other end, he misses a triple. And a great pass from Devin Booker inside to Fleming. He's had a lot of really easy opportunities in the paint. Great step back look from Ken Nixon. That's really one of his biggest strengths here early on in his career, and it's another wide open lane for Rasheer Fleming. Not loving that. Nixon this time tries a floater inside the free throw line. No good. And Donovan Mitchell puts him on a poster. Oh my goodness. Ken Nixon with a nice response on the other end. I think we're going to talk a lot about Ken Nixon going forward. That's just going to be a memory that we hope we forget, because that was pretty nasty by Spider Mitchell there. Getting yammed on by a 6'1" dude. That's Nixon. Good luck from mid-range. We'd love to see him take that extra step out to 3 for the easier shot. Mitchell heating up now after a 3 for 13 first half. Burke nearly got it stolen away, but instead Simons able to fight off the contact and complete the 3-point play. 1-point game here, been tight the entire way, as Donovan Mitchell was definitely looking for a foul there. Nearly stolen by Malawach. A couple of risky passes that have worked out for us recently. Fleming, another dunk. I mean, geez. Bro's playing like it's the dunk contest out there. He's pretty much getting a dunk whenever he touches the ball at this point. Malawach in the post. Good defense by Burke, but it's back to Malawach. He's now going to run some pick and roll with Mitchell. Burke stepped up just one step too far, leaving the lane open for Malawach for the lob. Fleming in the post, guarded by Simons. Passes it to a wide open Donovan Mitchell. He's getting off from deep. Up to 4 or 5 three-pointers on the day. I can't remember exactly. But a good feed from Burke, and Simon's finally able to make a jumper. Iguodala out to Najee. The Suns moving it around, but unable to convert on the possession. Tough shot from Simons, but he gets it to go. That's the one he gets to go. Nice. From Mitchell to Mitchell, but Davion can't finish the play for the Suns. It's a 6-point Venom lead, trying to be extended by Simons, but another miss for him. Continues his spotty efficiency, shall we say, but he picks up a steal here against Mitchell. Down to 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Still a close game. 6 points is the difference. Burke trying to get by Iguodala, ends up settling for a pretty tough hook shot, which he can't convert, and that is a 4-point play. Donovan Mitchell fouled on the 3-point attempt by Julian Strawley. Pretty decent look for a late shot clock heave for Nixon, but a miss from deep, and the Suns will convert in transition. I almost said Spurs there. I might have actually said Spurs before in this episode. I don't know why I would have a hard time with that distinction. Hawkins a nice Euro step inside though. Mitchell trying to force it down the court. Not a great pass. Picked off. Hawkins finds Webb for the easy 2. 4-point Venom lead. Stolen again by the Venom. This time it's Webb with the steal. Pushing ahead to Hawkins. Spinning and scoring through the foul. Finally, we got our offense going here with what will ultimately be a 35-point quarter, giving us a 7-point lead heading in to the fourth. Can we seal away the victory against this Phoenix team? Sasser going to be the one to get the fourth quarter scoring going. Mitchell continues with a hot hand from deep here in the second half. The defense was good on him in that first half. It just hasn't quite been the same here. Williams struggling to find space, but gets the layup to go regardless. Sasser out to Mitchell. Why not try again? And he hits again. He has been absolutely on fire from deep here in the second half. Bufkin got a good look, but that C+ 3-point rating not really going to help him. Off the dribble this time from Mitchell from deep, no good, but the offensive rebound to Iguodala would end up tying this game up. Our lead evaporates quickly. Iguodala slams it over top of Jalen Williams. There's been a lot of Iguodala and Fleming dunks. Our interior defense, man, feels a little spotty. Ken Nixon, beautiful jumper in the mid-range. Only 14 points tonight for him, though, at this point in the game is certainly lower than I would expect. And it's probably honestly been because we've had a little bit too much Anthony Simons throughout this game, if I'm being honest. And the Suns, I guess, are just doing a good job of defending him. Mitchell extends the lead to 5. Nixon trying to find Webb on the cup, but it just wasn't there at all, and he ends up throwing it out of bounds on the baseline. Tough look for Booker, blocked away by Nixon. Mitchell forced to put something up at the last second, and is hauled in by Jarris Walker, who finds Will Burke in transition. We're back to a one-possession ball game. Iguodala wide open on the pick and roll, makes it back to a 5-point game. Simons driving on Sasser with the left, scoops it up and in. Halfway through the fourth quarter now. Booker with a nice mid-range jumper. Simons driving in. Sasser this time with the left, not going to go. Booker blocked again by Nixon, showing up with great effect on the defensive end here in the fourth, and Burke gets another easy layup to fall. We've been keeping it right around this 3.5-point area, but we haven't been able to go on a run to get the lead back. A bad pass from Simons. Had a look at 3, instead passes it to Burke, and Simons was just awful on that possession. 2 bad passes as Mitchell hits another second half 3. That is his 8th 3 in the second half. 10 total here. Malawatch makes it an 8-point Suns lead. Burke, solid look from deep. This team has actually been pretty impressive in the clutch. The couple of close games that we have played, but not looking great here. We still have 3 minutes. As you can see, the 10 3-points made by Donovan Mitchell is a Suns franchise record. You never love allowing franchise records. But a great play in transition leads to a Jarris Walker slam. Euro step off glass and in for Booker. We need to start cutting into this deficit right now. The time is starting to become a factor here. The layup falls for Nixon. You might have to start thinking about threes here soon, especially if we can't get a stop. And Anthony Simons is getting picked on by Devin Booker here down the stretch. That's a tough matchup for us. Nixon this time does pull the trigger from deep. Pretty good look. Can't hit it though. Booker will score again, making it a 10-point lead, and they just took advantage of our biggest defensive weakness here down the stretch. Our offense, like I said, has looked pretty good in most of the clutch situations, and by most I mean the previous 2 that we've had so far this year. We just haven't had the juice that we needed so far. Nixon finally gets a triple to fall. He's been jacking him up here the last couple of minutes. Booker, no good on that attempt. Burke to Walker to Simons, who drills it. 4 points with 9 seconds. It's not technically over, I guess.
Third personal foul. Fourth team foul.
We would need 2 threes and then the total free throws to go 2 of 4 to force overtime. Booker hits both, so we need to hit a 3 here, have somebody go 0 for 2 from the line, and then hit another 3. That's pretty much the only scenario that leads to us still being in this game. Nixon jacks up 1 more. His 3-point numbers are going to end up looking worse than they should because of all the threes he jacked up here to try to get us back in it at the end. But ultimately, the Venom will fall 111 to 105. Anthony Simons scored 30 points, 10 of 22. Ends up not being like all that bad. He just had some pretty bad stretches. 8 of 18 for Nixon, 50% from the field from the big man. And that's going to do it here for this game. That's going to wrap it up for this episode. I thought about doing some more simulation, but we've got the first matchup between Will Burke and Brooke Paul. It's coming early, so we're going to have 3 episodes very early in the season. We'll start simulating for sure a decent bit. We might simulate into December next episode to make up for having 3 episodes in the first 6 games, but that's going to be a very fun matchup indeed. The number 1 versus the number 2 pick. The player that many people wanted to see in a Venom uniform against the guy we ultimately ended up selecting. That should be a fun game. The one game that we did simulate, so this is the first actually simulated game so far this year. We lost by 5 to the Rockets, a pretty talented team. I don't think losing to them says too much, but the fact that Simons took by far the most shots in simulation, probably not what we're wanting. Just one game, though, so hard to really draw any conclusions from it, other than the fact that our defense was way worse in simulation than it has been in the games that we've watched, allowing 127 points, which was by far our season high. So we'll be back soon to see this matchup against the Heat, and I will see you then. Fangs out.